Shalom, shalom. Kahalo Yahweh Bashem Shai. Devon to the Apostle Elder Graham Milson well. And salutations to the brethren on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word in truth and in sincerity. I've been researching a lot of these so-called terrorist attacks that have been happening over the course of the last few months. What I've been noticing is there are some cities that have been popping up. An example, London or even Jerusalem, with that latest attack on about 6 days ago. That there are cities and countries that haven't had terrorist attacks before. You know, um, Starting off with the whole Manchester deal at the Ariana Grande concert. Now you had that building fire, and now that Israeli policewoman that was stabbed in Jerusalem. You know, and ISIS is claiming responsibility for all of that. You know, and what I just thought was really peculiar that the Israeli policewoman was stabbed just weeks after one terrorist attack, which was that London project building, that's burned down, which only 20 people died, which doesn't even make sense. There was over 600 people in that building. So basically, what's going on is Esau is perpetuating a culture of fear, you know, and he's actually using that culture of fear to bring the people closer to the new world order. Make them more suggestible and susceptible to accepting, the new order. The robbery of your rights, the the justify the police forces. They've already got an EU military force on the way, which is in the works. They're what they're doing is they're creating military police now. They're through Operation Noble Eagle, they're militarizing the police forces, getting ready for martial law. You know, so basically they're doing all all these fear tactics to basically incite fear in the public so they can accept this new way of life which they want to bring about. And I'm just gonna jump right into it. This is from the Wikipedia. Culture of fear. It says culture of fear or climate of fear is a concept that people may incite fear in the general public to achieve political, workplace goals through emotional bias. You know, an example of that was the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Because right after that, what came about with that was this so-called war on terror, which generated more money to go into the military fund. So basically, so I can. So basically, they used that to generate more money into the military fund, and with that came legislation like PDD 51, Presidential Directive 51, which is basically they don't have to go to Congress in so-called moments of emergency or national crisis. They can just write whatever they can write whatever the bills they want. Then Obama re-signed that PDD 51, and now they don't have to go to Congress at all. They can just write executive orders. You got the NDAA, which came about with that too. Which was re-signed by Obama as well. You got all this legislation that came about. You got the right-wing extremist Homeland Security Act. You got the what do they call it? They call it the I'm sorry, I forgot what they call it, but they basically the surveillance state came about. The spying on people, the violation of your privacy. All that's come about because they're inciting fear in you, so they can push about these extreme changes, in the culture, so that they can have all control. So I'm just gonna skip down to in politics, because in the workplace, fear tactics. Yeah, boss use fear tactics, but really, what I really want is politics. So this comes from the main article, which is fear mongering. It says Nazi leader Hermann Goring explains how people can be made fearful and to support a war they otherwise would oppose. Which that's what happened in 9/11 attacks. America wasn't, American people uh, weren't too savvy on starting another war. So what they do, they staged terrorist attacks and they they made up a scapegoat or a boogeyman to blame for it, so that the Americans would want to get into a war, that would want to go to war. Because America wanted to get into the Middle East to take the natural resources like the oil, you know. So that was they just used 9/11 as an excuse to get people to sign up for the war, to get more bodies so they can go to war and take what they want. The people don't want war, but they can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. This is easy. All you have to do is tell them they are being attacked. All you have to do is tell them they are being attacked. And what do you see all over the world? These so-called terrorist attacks, man. And denounce the pacifists for lack of patriotism. So, and that's actually in that right-wing extremist act I was just talking about. If you are a pacifist, you are a terrorist. You're not patriotic. And for exposing the country to danger, it works the same in every country. Now, this was said back in World War II Germany, and it's the same principle now today, man. It's the same principle, because it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And at least they know what works and what doesn't work, man. So they've been perpetuating these terrorist attacks all over the world, And that was it for that. And the reason why you're seeing increased terrorist attacks around the world, more than you've ever seen before, is because they understand that they ain't got too much time left, so they're gonna force their agenda through now. This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Right, death to the people. Why? For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So he's coming down harder and harder, and he's speeding things up, man, because he wanted the enterprise to be developed, before the Lord gets back. But what he doesn't know is that the Lord sees everything that this devil is doing, man. Is going to thwart all his plans, Everything that he thinks, everything that he dreams up and he thinks and he concocts, in the night, in the shadows, the Lord sees it all, man. He's going to put them all to death. This is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. And that's the elites, man, because they devise iniquity, every day of their lives. They're always thinking and concocting new plans, man. That's what their think tanks are for. Using their psychology, their knowledge of the human mind to manipulate the people, man. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, And that's exactly what they're doing, man. They actually practice these terrorist attacks. They actually practice, these false flags and these big scares. They practice dips, making dips in the money system. They practice financial crashes. They practice housing market crashes. Just to see how people will react. So when it really happens, they have a foolproof plan to put it all in their order. Like the saying goes, order ab chaos, meaning chaos out of order. And that's exactly what you see in this video here. Well, when I seen this, I was like, man, I knew they were practicing terrorist attacks, but I didn't understand, I don't understand the what do you call it? I just didn't understand the gravity of how the elites are actually putting things in order and actually, trying to force their agenda through until I seen this video. So this is a mock terrorist attack that they practiced last year in Manchester. This isn't the same building. It looks like it. This isn't, I don't even think this is even on the same block. But they practiced this terrorist attack exactly a year ago. And a year later, they had that attack in Manchester, in the same city. So I just want to play this for you brothers.
Frighteningly realistic. A shopping centre in Manchester transformed into our worst nightmare. The scene of a terror attack. This blood and these screams, fake here though. Emergency services taking part in a major anti-terror exercise overnight at the Trafford Centre. Armed with machine guns, officers testing their response to a potential Paris or Brussels type attack on British soil. A threat at the forefront of so many minds. The hundreds involved knew they were in no danger, but still howled in distress during the roleplay. Greater Manchester Police, the North West Counter-Terrorism Unit and the North West Ambulance Service being tested, none knowing exactly how the mock attack would unfold. Authorities have stressed there is no threat looming here, but that they need to be ready for every eventuality. And with the UK on high alert to a possible terror attack, exercises like this could hold the key to saving countless lives.
Engine ignition. Lift off.
Now, if you notice, an exercise like this can lead to saving countless lives, but that was just a cover-up, man. You know, an exercise like that can lead the people to being more suggestible to pass different laws through, you know, so that the people can go with what the government wants. You know, and it's something called mass hysteria, you know, that they're perpetuating throughout the whole world with this whole ISIS, this Islamic State, you know, the religion of Islam, you know, because now every country in the world, everybody thinks that they're going to be attacked by terrorists. You know, every time you see a Muslim, oh, he's got to be a terrorist. You know, that's called mass hysteria. You know, making the masses hysterical or scared. You know, by making them see an illusion, and that's what it is, man, an illusion. 'Cause not all Muslims are terrorists, man. You know, not all of someone, you know, who's from the Middle East is a terrorist, man. Everybody's not trying to you know, bring about terrorist attacks. You know, really, those people are you know, really, you know, peaceful people. They don't really want no problem. Just don't mess with them. That's how they are. You know, but America, NATO, you know, the EU, thinks it well to mess with those people. So of course, you know, you get you know, an aggressive response. You know, that's with anything. You know, but they're perpetuating this aggressive response. You know, they're actually going over there. They're training the rebels. They're training the terrorists. You know, through the CIA, just to perpetuate this theater war. You know, but this is from the Wikipedia. Mass hysteria. It says in sociology and psychology, mass hysteria, also known as collective hysteria or group hysteria or collective obsessional behavior, is a phenomenon that transmits collective illusions or threats, whether real or imaginary, through a population in society as a result of rumors and fear. You know, and that's exactly what's going on. The illusion that all Muslims are all Muslims are all Muslims are terrorists is an illusion, man. You know, that's perpetuated through fear. Matter of fact, let me see. There was something else I wanted to read in this article, but that's pretty much the point, though. So yeah, man. So the whole world is in mass hysteria, man. Everyone's under this spell of an illusion that you know that all Muslims are terrorists. That you know that you can be attacked at any time. We have to be ready. You know, we have to fight for our country so we can go fight off the terrorists. That's all mass hysteria, man. It's not real. You know, matter of fact, Apostle Gabari came out with an acronym, you know, for fear a long time ago, a couple years ago. I think I still remember it. I think it's called fear, false reality appearing real, and that's what this mass hysteria is. You know, when you look at it, it just says it's a phenomenon that transmits collective illusions or threats, whether real or imaginary, through a population and society as a result of rumors and fear. You know, false evidence appearing real. You know, because you have no evidence that these people living on your block are terrorists, but you're scared of them. Why? Because you've seen the rumors, man. You've seen the fake articles. You've seen the fake terrorist attacks. So now you have this idea in your head, man. You know, and now that makes you want to do whatever the government wants you to do. Hell, including get the chip, man. And that's what this is all leading towards, a new world order and the microchip. You know, hell, I think there's over 20,000 people that already have the microchip, you know? So this is speeding up, man, and it's leading people towards their destruction, you know? But this is Luke chapter 12, verse 3. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, you know? So things like this Manchester mock terrorist attack, man. This was sown in the darkness, you know? This was spoken in the darkness, you know? You have the 9/11 attacks, man. Those were spoken in the darkness, but they were brought to light, man. The truth of all these incidents were brought to light, man. The truth that Esau, that he's a son of perdition, was brought to light, you know. And that which ye have spoken in the ear in closet shall be proclaimed upon the housetops, you know. So you might think you're getting away with stuff, man, but the Lord, his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, man. He sees everything, and everything will get revealed in his due time, you know. And that means the truth. So people are waking up, man. People are waking up to the bullshit, you know. Jake is waking up to these Edomites, you know. And it's about time for this world to be destroyed, man, and elect to be sealed, you know. Because we don't have too much time left, man. The chip is here, you know. The new world order is being formed as we speak, you know, through this culture of fear, and people don't even realize it, you know. So this is a terrorist attack that I was speaking on early. In Jerusalem, you know, the Israeli policewoman that was stabbed. You know, basically ISIS conveniently took responsibility for this, as always. You know, I'm just gonna read a couple of paragraphs of the article. This from RT. You know, it says Israeli policewoman killed in ISIS claimed stabbing attacks in Jerusalem. 23-year-old female Israeli border guard is dead, and 4 others are injured after simultaneous knife and gun assaults in the historic city center of Jerusalem. All 3 assailants who have been named as 3 Palestinian men have been killed. Islamic State, formerly or IS, formerly ISIS or ISIL, has claimed responsibility for the attack through its propaganda media outlet Amaq, vowing that it would not be the last. So that's all, you know, that's all I wanted to read on this article. But you know, you brothers can read the article for yourselves. But the point being is that all these terrorist attacks are perpetuating fear, man. You know, perpetuating people to run to the government for you know, for counsel. Oh, tell us what we should do. If we have to give away our rights, this is what we're gonna do. If it's gonna keep us safe, you know, things like that. People are fearing for their families and fearing for their lives, man. And it's nothing but aiding the agenda of the elites. You know, but the thing is, scriptures say knowledge and stability, you know, wisdom and knowledge to be the stability of your times, man. So if you understand these things, if you understand the scriptures, hell, if you understand basic politics and how, you know, how these terrorist attacks work in these politicians and the elites' favors, man, you won't be afraid. You won't have that fear. You won't have that mass hysteria. You know, if you're conscious of what's going on, you won't have that fear, man. You know, so you won't have that impulse to strike out and panic when things happen, man. This is Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. You know, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. You know, that's who you're supposed to fear, the Lord, man, not the terrorist attack, you know. And that fear of the Lord is going to lead you, you know, to salvation, man. That's going to be your strength, you know. Not you know, not going to the government, man. Not depending on the government, you know. Not depending on you know, Johnny the police officer down the street. Depending on the Lord, that's what's going to get you saved, man. That's what's going to keep you from the hour of temptation, man. That's what's going to keep you from the chip. You know, because all of this is leading towards a chip, man. You know, they want everybody chip. You know, they want everybody to have the RFID chip, man. So all of this is doing nothing but leading you to the chip. You know, you get the chip, we're gonna know where everybody is at the same time. We're gonna know how much money's in their bank account. We're gonna know what they're buying. We're gonna be able to track them. We're gonna know where they're going. So it's gonna keep the whole country safe, and that's what they want. So with that, I hope you brothers were edified. And you recall Allah Yahweh Shem Shai, the honesty, apostles, and elders of great Muslim and well. And salutations to the brethren on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word of truth and sincerity. Shalom.